Let's get started. George, how's it going, man?
Good, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, yeah. I know it's been a while, since we talked.
Yeah, it sure
Yeah,
has. I think it's last year.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
we're halfway throughout the year. So
yeah. I mean, to be honest, I haven't been doing any podcast episodes. I've been more focused on producing some music. That I've been working on. Hopefully soon, I'll be able to release it. I'll put it out on this channel. People can check it out.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I'm even thinking of, maybe one of these songs might be the new theme song. So the original theme song that I used for this podcast is actually uh a original song that I wrote.
Oh yeah. I
Um
still remember the beat. Dun, dun, dun,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so so
I
so
watched your show, bro. I watched your show.
maybe I might change it, maybe, but is if I do go to another theme song, it might be, of course something original that I write.
Yeah,
Um
that's cool, man.
yeah. Um but yeah, man, I know before, we started recording, we had some conversations, and you mentioned that, you've worked in a Vietnamese restaurant, or you actually were
So
part ownership, or what was the deal?
yeah, so the restaurant was a Vietnamese restaurant, but it was owned by my family. So my parents were the owners.
Okay.
I was more like I guess you can say the manager because I was doing the scheduling for the staffs and pretty much did most of the bookkeeping too.
Okay.
Um, don't know why I was assigned to doing that, but I guess I just wanted to help and they just trusted me with doing the bookkeeping and just make sure that we have, shifts for all these workers so they can, um, you know, just to make sure we have enough, manpower for the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What year was this?
Oh man. I think we started in 2010.
Okay.
Yeah, so I remember this because that we did the grand opening around my birthday, and I was 21. So I'm 35 now. This is 2014. So yeah, 2010. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I was 21 years old.
Damn, 2010, I think. Yeah, I was like fresh out of high school.
Oh
Maybe like 3 years right out of high
yeah.
school.
How old are you right now?
30,
33.
34. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I felt like I didn't feel like I was an adult yet.
Yeah.
So 21. Yeah, to be able to do that, like to manage a restaurant, yeah, that's a big weight to carry.
Yeah.
Especially I didn't have any experience,
Okay.
but it's a family business, so they only trust within the family. So um,
So was your family also cook the food, or did you guys
yeah,
actually hire?
so well, so the Vietnamese restaurant, it was based on the meal that we serve is pho, which is like our like you know the main Vietnamese dish that people the most popular Vietnamese
I,
dish.
I think it's probably the only dish that I know, honestly.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, there's plenty more.
Yeah.
So I would love to introduce you to more, but that was our base. But we do sell other things. We sell like a rice dish. We even sell like appetizers like chicken wings and egg rolls and stuff like that. So
Okay.
our menu was quite a good amount of choices
Yeah.
for our customers.
Hmm.
Yeah, but pho is basically our main meal, I guess.
Okay. One of the questions I also had is, um, dude, well, so what's the deal with, like, I've seen different restaurants where it's like pho 99 or pho 80, or it's like, does that represent a year, or what does that exactly mean? I mean, or is it just the name, for that place?
From my knowledge, I don't think the number. Well, the number probably. Well, some restaurant would pick the number or the name of the restaurant based on whatever that they thought of. Like I think pho like 89, for example. I think that's when they established their restaurant, so
Yeah.
they chose that number.
Okay.
But then they have other numbers, and it really doesn't mean anything. I think they just chose the number because they can't think of another name.
Oh,
Um,
I see.
so that's just my knowledge.
Yeah.
For my restaurant, we just took the name from my aunt's restaurant in Australia because they're very popular in Australia. So we took the idea to open the restaurant because of my aunt. So
Okay.
we just, I guess you can say we kind of franchised from them. So they already had the name, so we just took their name. Uh, yeah. But anyways, that restaurant is no longer there. We only been open for like a year, then we just closed it down.
Oh, I see. So this
Yeah.
was just kind of just an investment and see if
They wanted,
it can
well,
become.
the goal was to keep the restaurant in business as long as we can.
Yeah.
But the reason why we decided to sell it is because there was just a lot of competition. The restaurant was here in Orange County. So Orange County is one of the biggest Vietnamese, like, you know, people, like amount of people that lives here.
Yeah.
So the biggest is Texas. I think we're like probably the second biggest, or maybe vice versa. I don't know, but those are the two cities usually has the most Vietnamese people in the community. So with that being said, we had a lot of competition, and especially for a restaurant that you heard of, like the 80, whatever it is, they've been around for many years. Like maybe they call themselves 80 because they've been around since 1980,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. I
So
mean, that's what I've always thought. I've
mhm.
always thought maybe that's a certain year where pho was made a certain way. I don't
Yeah,
know. I mean,
I know. I
to
think
me, it was just a mystery. Like,
yeah,
what?
yeah, I know what you mean. I never asked that question, but I'm sure whoever you ask, like the owner or whatever, they would tell you the story why you chose that number or
Yeah.
that name.
Okay.
But from my knowledge, I really think they just chose a number that no other restaurant has, where
Yeah.
they can just, and some of the numbers it just sounds good when you say it, like fall 2000, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure that they might have made it in 2000. I don't know, or maybe it just sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It almost makes you think like, is this a new recipe or a
yeah.
new style?
I think you just take it as like they just chose a number and that's all it is. You only
Okay.
know until you ask, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah. So for example, like our restaurant was called Pho Jute.
Uh huh.
Jute Ju means uncle, and
Okay.
Tay is basically the so I guess my aunt bought this name from, or this restaurant from, the previous owner,
Hmm.
and I think the owner name is Tay. So I guess restaurant was called, for Uncle Tay. So she just kept the name for all those years, and it became a very popular restaurant in Australia. So they just kept the name, and we want to take that name to America. So hopefully we can hopefully franchise more in the future in America. But it's just so much. It's just really hard than Australia,
Yeah.
because Australia doesn't have a lot of Vietnamese community,
Okay.
especially where they're from. They're from Melbourne, so it's like there's a good amount, but not amount where a lot of owners that owns the pho restaurants,
Yeah.
different pho restaurants.
Hmm.
So the competition is a little less. Where here it's just a lot more. Everywhere you turn the corner, there's a pho restaurant. So
Yeah, that is true. I mean, there's Vietnamese, Thai,
mhm.
Japanese ramen, and
Yeah,
there's
it's very
so many.
diverse here in Orange County.
Yeah.
It's just there's just different variety, and that's why we pay so much rent here, because everything's so convenient. They have everything.
Yeah, I mean, the rent
Yeah,
is out of control, man.
yeah.
Everything. Prices. I mean, today I think I saw the gas prices drop, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, maybe like 20 cents, but I've never seen it like I think it was what, like 4.26 or something like that.
Hmm.
Usually it's close to $5. So for it even to drop that much nowadays is like, okay, that's pretty
I
cool.
started driving in high school when I was like 17,
Mhm.
and I think a full tank of gas was $20. So I think gas by that time was probably like $2.20 a gallon, maybe.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I only got to experience when gas went down as low as I think 2.43.
Mm.
And I remember like I think it was $30 or $25 I was able to
Yeah,
fill up my tank.
and that was my allowance for the week. So I had no money to eat other than school cafeteria food that was like 50 cents.
Yeah.
Um, but those were the good old days.
Uh,
But now everything is just way more expensive.
yeah, I mean, it definitely is here in California. I mean, I have family over there in Wisconsin, and I mean, the minimum wage is a little different, the pay's different, but for the most part, I mean, as far as you wanting to own a house or wanting to start a family, it's a lot more realistic and affordable for most people over there
Yeah.
versus here, where You know, it's either you're gonna, you and your spouse is gonna, partner up and both, pitch in and be able to, pay for investments or, expenses, or, you have a successful job where you can do it on your own. Um, that's pretty much the only way. I mean, California seems like it's going to be a state for where most people are going to be renting, versus buying.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
yeah. So
I mean, for example, so I own a house right now.
okay.
I'm not married. I don't have any kids, but
Yeah.
I was able to afford one because I have a business as well. So
Yep.
I have my full time job Monday to Friday,
Hmm.
but I also have a side business, and that's the only reason why I'm able to afford such a place in SoCal.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's just how it is. You know, it's either you and your wife works in order to afford you know,
Yeah.
a single family home, or um, you just have a side hustle. And I think that's just. I mean, at least that's what I think. I think other states are a little different because you can survive with this single income. But I think for here, it depends what you do, obviously. But for my full time job, I'm a pharmacy tech, so I think the most I make is like kind of like like 50 to 60,000 a year.
Hmm.
But with my business, I'm able to make more. So um, and I think that's what motivated me to start a business because I you know when you want to you want to spend more, you're gonna earn more. So
Yeah.
and that's
Of
why I
course.
decided to to do that. But I was hoping the restaurant would be well during that time my family we all wanted the restaurant to succeed, but it just wasn't worth it. The stress that comes with it. Um, and we didn't really have much to really stand out. And if you're trying to compete with other restaurants, you have to have a signature that makes a difference. I think for us, the reason why we're able to have a good amount of customers is because we were able to sell our food very cheap during that time.
Okay.
Like we're talking about like $2 or $3 a plate here, where other restaurants at the time were selling like $6, $7. So it was like pretty much half
Are you
off.
serious?
Yeah, yeah, we
Wow,
were.
that's
I
crazy.
think because we wanted to do that in the beginning to hopefully to attract more people
Yeah.
because the price, right? As they eat our food, they love it, but then and we try to increase our prices, but
Yeah.
it comes with a lot of stress, right? So and it's breaking our family apart because on when you start a business and when you work with your family, it's not always the best partners and team, if that makes sense. Um,
Yeah, I definitely understand what you're
yeah,
talking about.
yeah. So yeah, especially someone like me, where I don't own a restaurant. I'm just the manager. But as a manager, you have certain ways to do certain things to manage the restaurant to make it work.
Mhm.
But then you have your family to basically have their ideas, what they want to do, and it just conflicts with what I want to do. Um, but at the end of the day, we want the restaurant. It's really for the restaurant to succeed, but sometimes you just can't find the recipe of success, and it just and I think that's why we sold it after a year of like doing all that and without seeing money really growing. I mean, we were breaking even, but we just didn't feel like it was worth it. I think if we stick it out 2 or 3 more years, we could have been okay. But I think it was just not worth it because of how our relationship as a family became. Like I didn't see my family as brothers and sisters and mom and dad. I just see them
Yeah,
as
the price would seem too
yeah,
high.
as like yeah, like colleagues. And I
Yeah.
didn't like that. Like all the events we had that's back then we used to celebrate like for example, the Lunar New Year, the Father's Day, Mother's Day, Christmas,
Mhm.
and it wasn't there because we're all our focus was on the restaurant, and
Yeah.
I think that's the part of us that really made us feel like we missed so much that we don't think it's worth it. So we decided to sell it, and well, whoever we sold it to, they didn't keep our name because we only been in business for a year, so no one really knew who we really were.
Mhm.
So another restaurant came in and they took over. But honestly, after that, they couldn't handle it either. So I think it's probably the mix of location and I guess the products too. I think that place has been different owners. like it's been, since 2010. From my knowledge, that place has been switched to different owners like 4 or 5 times after us, and that's a big turnaround.
Yeah, I mean that can be a location can be a big one. Um, I mean, especially. I mean, was there any similar restaurants nearby?
There, I mean, right next to us was a Chinese restaurant. So, I
Okay,
mean, it's different, but it's like,
it's
you
it's
know,
Asian, but
yeah,
it's not the same style of food though.
it's just that place, that plaza. It doesn't have a lot of attraction. I mean, we had
Oh, I
a,
see.
you remember the supermarket John's, Jons?
Yeah, is that
You don't see them anymore, right? Well, that's,
didn't that
yeah.
seem like a ripoff of Vaughn's? The
You might be
logo,
right. You might be right.
was similar. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, I was
yeah,
like, what?
yeah. You're probably.
Vaughn's?
I never thought of that because I don't shop there.
Because you know how there's Carl's Jr. and there's Hardee's.
Yes, but that one is actually. I'm sorry. That one's actually from the same company. They just have two different names. They're actually from the same company. So Johns and Bonds, I don't think they're the same like company.
Yeah,
I think they're two separate companies.
no, I absolutely, but
Yeah.
it just I always saw the name and it just reminded me of Vaughn's
I
for,
mean,
for some
you're
weird
not
reason.
wrong because Johns has. You're right. The logo looks almost similar, but the color is the same.
Yeah,
It's red, right?
yeah.
Um, yeah, a lot about it just does. I don't know. Maybe if whoever's watching this, maybe you can look on Google see if Johns and Vons are literally the same family or same company. But anyways, we had John's, and it's not the most popular supermarket, and then
Yeah.
we had Goodwill, which people only go there for cheap stuff, um, or donation, of course. Goodwill's good, by the way. I'm just
It's not so cheap anymore, dude.
sure,
The last time I went, I mean, because I have a older brother, he likes to always
like shop, window shop.
he likes to
Yeah,
treasure hunt.
yeah,
He'll
yeah,
find unique stuff,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it's like he'll come across some stuff and they ask for like
A
it's
lot,
like
right? Yeah.
well I mean nowadays you can research a lot of the items and you can
It's easier
really
now.
give
Yeah.
a better more accurate
I didn't know what
price.
Goodwill was until we opened that restaurant, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah, honestly I don't have the patience for that.
mhm.
I can go to a swap meet, but as far as going to like a Goodwill or like a thrift shop, I've tried it. It's not for me. I mean, yeah, it's just I haven't done that in so long, and the times I did that, it was I just don't have the patience for it. Like, and then my older brother, he always has an eye for something. Like, I'll go to his house and he's like, "Dude, check out what I got." And he finds like stuff that's like good quality too, or like really crazy paintings that he's come across. And I'm just like, man, if I were to go to the store and try to find something like that, there's no way. I
Mhm.
mean, it's just you got to have the patience and the eye for it.
And the
But
passion too.
yeah, the
Yeah.
passion, of
Yeah,
course.
because
Yeah,
it takes a lot of time and effort. So
yeah, yeah, definitely.
yeah. So yeah, that's all we had in the plaza really. So it wasn't the attraction wasn't there, so it was hard to find customers. People and we try to advertise, and honestly, it's a family business, so none of us have marketing skills, unless we hire somebody. But I don't think we wanted to spend more money that we don't have. So we try to make flyers, but we don't even know if people even read flyers at the time, honestly. Um, but we try to make it work. So I know we broke even, but after like selling it to another family, I think overall we pretty sure we either break even or we actually lost a little bit. But for sure we didn't make any money. But what I gained from that is experience. I learned how to do bookkeeping. I know how to manage a team because I was the one that did the scheduling. So
Yeah, leadership's a big one.
yeah, yeah. Because before that, I had no job experience. I mean, I worked at like seasonal jobs, like Disney Store and Toys R Us.
Yeah,
That's because I was just referred by friends that works there. So I just but it's a seasonal job, so obviously there's a contract of only how many months I could be there.
yeah.
So I had no job experience because during that time I was still going to school. And honestly, because of all that stress, I couldn't finish school. Honestly, because of that business.
So when you went to school, was that related? Is that related to the job you're doing right now?
Well, The job I'm doing right now is right
Yeah,
now. Yeah,
pharmaceutical.
yeah. So when I graduated high school in 2007, I went to a trade school
Okay.
for a pharmacy technician certificate license. So there's two ways to do it. There's one, you can go to school to get your license or certificate that you went through that training,
Yeah.
or you just take a simple test that you pay a fee, take a test. But the difference between the two is one, you get have an instructor to teach you, what the industry is like. Where you just take a test, you just study off a book and then you take a test, and hopefully you land on a retail pharmacy job, whatever it is. But if you go to school, at least you have the education. So I decided to go with that route because I hate reading.
Hmm.
I'm not a reader. In school, I was good at math, and I think that's why bookkeeping helped me to do it for my family, and even with my business now, bookkeeping. But when it comes to reading, it was just something that I was never interested in ever since I was a kid. You know, the more pictures in the book, the better. That's just how it was for me. Yeah,
Comic books, right?
yeah, comic books. Yeah, manga. If you know what that is, like that's
No.
Japanese comics.
Are
Yeah.
they're not the books that are like backwards, right?
Oh no, 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 I don't
No.
think so.
You know what I'm
It's
talking about
normal.
though, right?
Um,
Where it's like the pages are like, I mean, you would see it as the back of the book.
to be
So
honest
they're
with
in
you, okay,
reverse.
so I'm gonna be honest. When I read the manga, I read it online.
Okay.
So the manga but the books were online. So obviously, I just clicked next to the pages.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know about the real manga books. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what you're talking about,
Yeah.
but I actually don't know. So, but
Yeah. So
but manga is like once in a while. But my when it comes to reading, it's mainly like you said, comic books. So I grew
mm,
up with the Marvels and DCs, like all
okay.
those books, comic books. So yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I went to a trade school for my pharmacy technician license, and I went through like internships at CVS Pharmacy, and I think I went to a inpatient pharmacy called, if I remember, I believe it's For America. So they do a lot of like bowl packs where they put medic pills into like these bowl packs for like long term cares and like nursing facilities where the nurses will, you know instead of putting in like a bottle, you put in like these tablets, like these bowl packs.
Okay.
Yeah. So think of it like, when you open like a one of those bubble gums, like those, not bubble gums, but those mint gums, and you
Hmm.
just open like this, and it just comes out like the little foil. So think of it like that, but for medic, but with pills.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So it's a bowl pack, and you just pop every whatever the instruction says.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so that's all I did. That's for the inpatient internship. So all I do is just put pills in the bowl packs and then ship it out. Very easy stuff. I think
Yeah.
I learned more in retail pharmacy. Why? Because I deal with customer service, I deal with insurances, I deal with um, inventories. So I learned a lot more in retail than I did in inpatient pharmacies. But anyways, after that, I was thinking about. So I wanted to go back to school because the trade school is only a year. So I was like, at the time I was like 19, 20. I was like, I'm still pretty young. So I wanted to see what else I can do.
Hmm.
So I went back to school, and I was trying to balance that with the restaurant that my parents decided to open because they had this vision that they wanted to just start a business because my aunt was successful in Australia and they thought they can do it here too. But in order for them to do it, because my parents, like, even though they want to do it, they need help because they don't have any business skills. I don't either, but with more help, it can go somewhere.
Yeah.
I can't say it was a mistake to open that restaurant because it's not like I didn't get anything out of it. I got a lot out of it. I learned how to do business. Like, I know how business works. I know how, you know, because I didn't go to school for business, if
But
that
you
makes
got a
sense.
real feel on how
Yeah.
a business
And
really
I believe
works.
you learn your skills by doing it, not by just going the reading or just studying. Even you know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
mean,
Yeah.
I think experience is always worth a lot more than the actual knowledge,
Hmm.
even though knowledge is very valuable as well. But having the actual experience,
Yeah.
um, I think it gives you that extra edge, that you're using the knowledge on actual, real experience
Yeah.
versus it's like you. it's like, for example, you get taught how to do a specific job, but you've never done it before.
Mhm.
Whether it's repairing, a certain appliance, or anything from a car. Uh, but when you actually do it, it's like sometimes you come across stuff that's unexpected.
Yeah.
Like you can know how to do it, but doing it as an experience, gives you an idea on how it really is,
Mhm.
in real life, realistically.
Understand. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
It's just
100%.
like, okay, I think a better example would be a fireman. They train, to, learn how to put out fires and stuff, but when there's an actual fire, you don't know what's coming.
Mhm.
You have experience on how to control it and everything, but there can be an element, that element of surprise, that you wouldn't expect.
Yeah, like all the drills you can do as many drills you want, but there's gonna be something unexpected that throws
Exactly.
at you, and you
Yeah.
gotta know how to adapt the changes that you need to
Exactly.
put out a fire, right? So,
Yeah. And that,
yeah,
that can be related to a lot of things. This is what I'm trying to say.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, man. Yeah. So with the restaurant, even though I went through all those hardships, I was 21, so that's the age that you wanted to have fun. You wanted to go to Vegas, and do all the adult stuff. But I felt like I was just, I mean, personally for me, I can't speak to most of my family, but for me, I felt like I was really trapped. I didn't feel like I see all my friends going to places, going to raves, going to do all this stuff that they wanted to do as an adult. I'm here like slaving in the kitchen. Um, lot I built a lot of relationship with my colleagues, for example, or my
mhm.
staff and my family. But there's still a lot of hardships, right? Um, Got to deal with it, health inspectors and stuff like that, and it's a lot of headaches.
Yeah, it can be very stressful.
Yeah, so I think after a year, I think we all decided to call it quits. And you know what? Sometimes it's okay because just because you started, at least you tried it, and like if it's not for you, it's not for us, then it's okay to move on. Sometimes, life is like a bow and arrow. Sometimes you just need to you need to pull back so then you can be able to succeed forward, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
And also, I mean, you don't get stuck asking yourself, what if,
Mhm.
started the restaurant and you never did. It's like when you have a dream but you don't have the courage to pursue it, and so a lot of people don't want to do it because they're afraid of failing. But you still get deep down inside, you're still like, what if I actually pursued this? And it's like sometimes you never know. I mean, what if, you know, I you know, it sucks that it didn't succeed, but you still got good experience off it.
Yeah.
But what if it was the other way around,
Yeah.
and it took off, and like it's like you still rolled that dice. You took that chance, and I think that's what life is really about. Sometimes you have to take a risk. I mean, I'm not saying you got to take a huge risk, but there are moments in life where you kind of have to push yourself to do
Mhm.
it, or else you're never going to know if you're going to, be able to succeed or accomplish, your dreams. Um, and, like stuff like that is like, that's why if you, I mean, personally, if I ever see opportunities, it's like, if I see it as an opportunity, I'm going to take it, you know, it's just, you never know.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. And you're right. I definitely got experience out of it. I mean, during that time, I think I was just because I was just so at the restaurant. I think a lot. I was like, what can I do to be more successful, not just for my family, but for myself? So, I took all that skills and I decided to do something with it. And then that's when I learned that I love to do business. So I wanted to do something. And, during that time, even though I was working the restaurant, I needed to make more money because obviously working for my family, I wasn't making much for myself. So I had to find like a part-time position or something. So school was hard to do that and school. So I actually dropped out of going to school to get like my AA or bachelor degree. So I decided to just full force in the restaurant, and also I worked for my brother in law's company. My brother in law started a business on his own, and he's in the wedding industry. So he basically does uh wedding planning events. So basically he's an entertainer. So he's
Mhm.
an MC, and he also has a DJ, a photo booth, and all these like fun stuff that usually a reception would have for weddings. So I he took me under his wing, and he taught me how to do all these like crazy audio technician stuff that I have no skills in, but I learn as I go. So like you said, experience is as you get experience, you can do anything, right? So I learned to do audio tech, and then I learned and eventually I learned how to play music or DJ. So and that's crazy because I came in a music background. You probably don't know this, but I used to do hip hop dancing. I used to play drums. I used to play guitar. I used to sing. Well,
Mhm.
I still sing now for just for fun though, karaoke, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but never like professional for singing. But nothing professional. Everything is just like just for fun.
Yeah.
And but because of that, my brother trusts me to be like a DJ for him, even though I had no experience in it. But I was able to learn and pick up as I go. So I learned how to DJ off of YouTube, off of people that I know that DJs, and I became his DJ. And he's actually very successful in his business. He's been around for since 2010. So it's like 14 years that he
Okay.
has his business. So I was able to work for him, making a little bit more money.
Mhm.
Wasn't much, but it was a little bit more. And after the restaurant closed down, I became more available. So I was able to, and at that time he was able to build his business. So I was getting more gigs with him. So I was getting a little bit more money, but it still wasn't good enough. And then I was just trying to do all this stuff to see because I wanted to do business. I wanted to like, I wanted to do real estate. I wanted to sell stuff. I don't know, like sell stuff online. I think Amazon was growing to be like a, I think eBay was good, but then I think Amazon kind of took over as the number one, like online like seller and
Yeah.
buyer. So um yeah, so I was thinking about that, and then but you know what? It's just it's just hard, right? Because sometimes you have an idea, but it's not easy to execute unless you have the knowledge, you have the
Yeah, I mean, it could
plans.
be yeah, the knowledge, the team, the networking. There's so many factors. Um, but I mean, sometimes that's how it starts. Though, and you have one great idea, and you have a few people that believe in that. You have support. You can make it happen. But just like you said, there's so much competition. It's just it's it's something that you have to give it everything you got if it's something that you really want to succeed. I mean I can think of I'm sure there's other examples, but like Tesla with Elon Musk. I remember at the very beginning what he was trying to meet his quota for the cars. Um, there was articles of him, that he actually didn't leave the company. He was just, sleeping on the couch, waking up, getting back to work,
Yeah,
and pretty much like a freaking machine. you
yeah.
you 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 eat, you sleep, you go back to work, and it's just over and over and over repetitive. Just trying to beat all odds.
I think that's what entrepreneurs mindset is. It's kind of like your baby. You started this as nothing,
Yeah,
and it became to something beautiful. So in order to do that, you gotta go through all these grinds and hardships, and I think that's what makes us successful. It's the really the energy and focus and efforts that you put into your craft that you want to create in order for it to be successful.
yeah,
Because once you give up, that's it, right? And so never give up. Always, you have a goal, you want to try to reach the goal as best as you can. You know,
yes.
yeah. I'll take a break.
Yeah, I
All
was
right.
about to say let's take a little break right now.
All right.
It's pretty good.
Was that good?
So George, you were talking about was it your brothers? business?
Yeah, my
If
brother-in-law. So my
oh, okay,
sister's
brother-in-law.
husband. Yeah. So yeah, he well, I can tell you how he started. He always was into like audio system and all the toys, like all the technology stuff.
Mhm.
So I guess he invested in his own like speakers and microphones and everything. So like he loves doing like family events, gatherings and stuff like that. So I think he bought a lot of stuff with his own money.
Okay.
Because he wanted to host like a family reunion. So instead of hiring like all these people that can provide it, he just bought his own. That way he can have his own for special events too. Because he likes to play music too and stuff like that. He's not like a DJ, but I guess he learned to love to DJ. I guess because I learned how to DJ from him, but like the basic, like literally press play or stop or fade in and out. Like the simple stuff.
Yeah, the
But as
basics.
I grown to learn the basic, I kind of learned how to filter certain moves on the turntable. So like learning how to mix and then not scratch. I'm not a scratch DJ, but like I mix
But
like
you actually used actual records for
no,
mixing, or you
so
use, or it's all digital?
digital. So 2010, like records, like DJs, it's not a thing anymore. So
Okay.
people go into this. So the turntables is the original name for it, but they call the little one, the more portable ones, the more digital controllers now.
Oh, I
So
see.
yeah, so my brother had a controller, and then he taught me how to use it. Um, so I guess how he got into the business of like starting to do MC work and all the stuff for wedding, for example. I think because when he hosted these events, he was kind of like the MC, like the spokesperson. And
Yeah.
I think one of his family member asked, like, "Hey, do you MC for weddings? Because I think you'd be good." And I guess he accepted it, so he did it for his family or something. And then I guess he can see where this was going, so he started his business, and then, if you want to check him out, he's still in business. It's called Triple A Entertainment. Uh, Website is VietnameseDJ.com. If you anyone that wants a DJ or MC, like, his forte is mainly Vietnamese crowds, but it's he does English too, so it's for it's for anybody. You can check
Okay.
out the website. But anyways, my brother-in-law um, started that while the pho business was still running. So
Okay.
I worked with the pho restaurant and I worked for him on the weekends. So I was working a lot. But the craziest thing is like I wasn't sure what I was doing with my life because I at that time I already dropped out of school. I was just going with the flow, and I was really hoping the pho restaurant would blow up, and then hopefully I can get my see where I'm going with my career from that. But I think after we sell the restaurant, when I was still working with my brother, he was getting more popular. He was getting booked every week. It was very high demand. I guess because of his style. We don't have a lot of male MCs in Orange County that can speak very good English and very good Vietnamese as well, like very fluent, because
Okay.
that's what he can do.
Yeah.
So, and during that time, people were getting married. I think they were going this route, like this industries of weddings was becoming more less traditional because I think in the Vietnamese weddings, there's a lot of tradition stuff that you must do. Um, so a lot of like modernize it, they wanted to skip a lot of things that is unnecessary. So they wanted more a modern type of wedding. So I think my brother's style was like it was like that. He was very hype, and then with my DJ audio, I loved music, so my list of songs were a lot very fresh. So I was playing a lot of songs that 2010 was a big hit. For example, like Jay Sean, Down. That was like, a song.
Yeah.
It's very popular at the time. And then Temperature by Sean Paul. Remember those days?
Yeah.
Those songs? Yeah, yeah. So I was kept up with music. So because of that, my brother was able to use me more for the DJ part. So I did that for him for a couple years. Um, and during that time, I guess because that was just a weekend job. After the restaurant was sold, I had so much time in my hand. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was like, I was playing poker with friends too, so I was like, maybe I'll try to be a professional poker player. See if I can make money out of that on the. But then obviously that's up and down all the time, and You have to be really good to keep it more consistent to have an income for
Yeah.
poker. Yeah.
You gotta take a lot of risks.
Yeah, that's huge risk.
Yeah.
So, but honestly, I was like, maybe we'd do something else. At that time, my good friend was looking into real estate, and I kind of partnered him up with buying properties and stuff like that too. And but it didn't. We had it for like a couple years, at least for our partnership. We had it for like a year or two, and then we decided to part ways because it was. I think our vision was a little different on how we
Okay.
wanted to own these properties.
Yeah.
So that's a long story, but we can move forward from that. But basically, I was doing a lot of things that had nothing to do with what I was expecting to do. I mean, it was all business. Like, doing real estate was kind of like business. You own a house, you rent out to tenants, you invest in like properties, like stuff that breaks, you gotta buy something that to replace it, stuff like that, to keep the house on because there time, you have equity for the house. But I think it was just hard because I didn't have an income where I can buy a house for myself. My friend at the time didn't couldn't do it by himself either. Um, so we decided to part ways. So I was just figuring myself out what I wanted to do. I could always go to the pharmacy route where I have my license, but I think because pharmacy was not business; it was just medical, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to keep that as my last resort. I wanted to do business, so I wanted to find what can I do that can get this entrepreneurship going. So I think after my brother, the thing about my brother is, he's family. I love him. I basically just listens to his ways. But I have a vision of my own how I want to do certain things. So I decided to start my own wedding business. Um, so I ran to a friend that used to work for another company, kind of like my brother's, but another company that was pretty much the rival, like rivaling with my brother-in-law because he's not the only MC DJ. We have many more, but my friend worked for the other guy. I worked for this guy, and then me and him came together one night because we were hanging out a lot. And we were like, I guess we were just talking about like, dude, we have all these ideas. How come we don't just start our own team? Start our own business. And that's just like, yeah, why not? So we planned, we brainstormed. We were hanging out till like 5 in the morning at my friend's garage. And that's just how it is. When you have an idea and you want you start something like a baby and you want it to grow, you
Hmm.
have to put in a lot of effort and time and energy, right? And that's
Yeah. A
what we
lot of
did.
planning.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So we started with that because my friend DJ too. So he DJ for that company and I would DJ for my brother-in-law. So we just kind of joined forces and basically see where this goes. So we were just, we just start to combine our resources. Like I had some speakers, my friend had some speakers, and then we were just combining like all our wires and audio systems, see if it works, so what we did is we just threw a party. We just threw parties like every other weekend or something.
Yeah.
And hopefully people can come and just have fun and just listen to our art. And then who knows, and we just want to see, just want to throw a party and see someone would see if they want to hire us for some other events.
Hmm.
So and then that's pretty much what we did. And then we got recognized, and it's all about opportunities. So someone saw what we do and they gave us an opportunity where we were able to do little events. Like I think our first gig, if I can remember exactly, as me and my partners, we it wasn't a company yet. It was just something, a startup, I guess you can call it. But our very first gig together, it was like this. We put ourselves on Craigslist.
Yeah.
We put ourselves on Craigslist. Like, hey, DJ for $100, for 3 hours or something. And then I guess someone called us on the number, and this lady, she was like, "Hey, I'm hosting a kind of like a tennis tournament, and we need a DJ for that event. Um, you guys like to come, and can you guys come and stuff like that?" It's like, they're like, heck yeah. So we came, we played some pretty nice, cool music. Um, yeah, and, it was crazy because we I don't remember. I'm just exaggerating. It's $100. Well, I don't remember how much we put on our like how much we were offering to do the service. But I remember the tip that we got. So we were making, let's just say we got $100 for just doing 2 hours. Someone gave us a $200 tip, like towards the end of the night. It was like the husband of the event or something. I don't know, but he was giving us 200. Like we just made $300, just 2 hours of work. And it's less effort too because I think when I worked for my brother, I literally start from like 3 p.m. to like midnight, like 8 hours of work, and I was making like $50. Where I
Damn.
literally just made with my partner 2 hours of work, let's say 3 hours because we had to set up and tear down, $300. So an hour we made $50 each. You know, we're like, dude, and that just motivated us. Like, dude, we can do something with this.
Yeah.
So it just takes a lot of patience and time, and then from there we just start. It became something small, and then we became a really big team now. So since we started was 2014. So I worked for my brother from 2010 to 2014, and then I started with this, and then we been growing since now. So it's been exactly 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So we are booked every week, sometimes double booked. Like we can do 2 weddings per night because we have a big team now. I think we have about a total of 15 people on our team that does not just DJing, but also MCs, photo booths, that does sparklers machines, that does dancing on the clouds. We even do we even have a photographer. Um, and we have like projections on screens and a lot of things that we provide because we remember we just started just DJing and now we're able to expand and do a lot more.
So are you the only owner, or is there other
So me and
owners
my
to the
friend that started, we're both owners, so we're
so
co-owners.
there's two owners, you
Yeah,
and your friend.
that's right.
Okay, so
And
you
it all
guys
started,
manage all the
yeah, it just
taxes,
started
the
in the
payroll,
garage,
everything.
just me and him. We were just like, dude, let's just do something. Like, working for our family, our friends was great. But sometimes when you have a vision that you want to just control
Yeah.
and you want to make that a reality, you just gotta take the step of, to take a leap of faith, and just take that risk. I mean, we didn't think it was that much risk, right? I mean, we fail, we'll just go back to what we do.
Hmm.
But I didn't feel that we lose anything if that happened. The only thing we can lose is our reputation, but no one's gonna remember us if it doesn't work once or two or three gigs, right?
Yeah.
But I think what we have was people really liked us. That we were very professional. We provide really good audio, good music, and people want that for their events. So and then we just build our team from there.
Okay. So what is the name of the company?
The name of the company is called Radiate Productions.
Radio Production.
Yeah. So if you want to know about my business or my website, it's radiatepro.com. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube. We even have a what do you call it? I just remember Instagram 'cause that's like the biggest thing. Oh, we have a Facebook too. So yeah, it's just follow us, and if you have any events that you want us to, it shows what we do, and if you see like you want us to be a part of it, just give us a call or send us a message.
So, but you specialize with wedding events?
Yeah, weddings are our specialty.
Okay.
But honestly, we do anything. We done corporate events before too.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Got it.
Back in March, I think we did. Do you know the genre new wave?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you know what gazebo is?
Yes.
You do?
What a
Maybe.
gazebo is?
No, well, not gazebo, the like a tent, but gazebo's a singer. He's an artist.
Oh no, no.
So back in the 80s, 70s, I believe so. He's very popular. So he new wave was the genre that he's a part of.
Okay.
So I did a show for him. So we provided audio system for his show. Um, that was hosted here in Orange County. So he's from Italy, but he was I guess he's doing different tours. So one of the spot that he was doing in United States was Orange County. So uh he in his it's his he's the main person for that night. But we have other artists that night as well. But radio production was the main audio that provide the audios, the mics and everything for the singers.
Okay.
So not only that we DJ, but we also provide audio, professional audio system too that can, uh, provide for like over, thousands, 500 to 1,000 capacity.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
yeah. So
Um, so for you, as a person who has their own businesses, do you have like expectations to just keep expanding, or do you have eventually like a limit where you're gonna be, well, or this is as much as our company's gonna go, or do
well,
you have actual hopes of actually like being part of something that can be, you know I guess, big enough to where the point where you're gonna need a larger team, you're gonna be a bigger company.
so when we started, um, professionally in the wedding industry, we only had a team of, uh, I believe, five.
Okay.
So we have an MC, we have a DJ, we have, um, an audio technician, and we have a photo booth manager. So, and I think we had and my partner is a backup DJ too. So in case, because DJing for like hours, it gets pretty tiring. So we
Yeah.
kind of like switch off, kind of like a chain smoker, like, vibe that we provide.
Oh, so sometimes there'll be
Sometimes
two of
we,
you
we,
guys.
yeah, we do, we switch back and forth, stuff like that,
I
whatever
mean,
works.
when you guys do something like that, though, is it an event that goes on for over like 6 hours, or it can be an event
We
that goes?
provide so normally we do the events for receptions. Reception usually takes 4 to 5 hours.
Okay,
So
so switch off like what,
yeah,
every two
so
hours?
we're specialized in Vietnamese weddings, and the only reason why we're specialized in it is because our MC is bilingual. Our MC can speak English and Vietnamese. I'm just naming one of them. Actually, all our MC can be bilinguals, but I think the first MC we ever hired, he can speak Vietnamese and English fluently, and a lot of demands for those because a lot of the first generation Vietnamese people are still alive and well, and it's usually their kids that are getting married. And the thing is, we don't want them to feel left out because they don't understand English. So we want to make sure we have a translator or able to translate what he or she says in English
Hmm.
to Vietnamese.
Oh, I see.
So the reason why we're open for all ethnicities and nationalities, types of weddings. Like we done Spanish weddings, we done Filipinos, we done Chinese, we done like just straight English. We done every type of because we've been in business for 10 years, so we pretty much done everything.
Yeah.
But our forte is mainly Vietnamese English weddings, and the only reason why is because we have our MC can only speak those languages. And if we need to do a wedding where, let's say, a Spanish wedding, and we don't have our MC doesn't speak Spanish, so we would have to hire like a subcontractor that can do a Spanish translating, but in an entertainment type of translating too. It's not like voice interpreter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's basically like another MC, but they can do Spanish too. So kind of like co-MC.
I see.
So that has happened. But our forte is mainly Vietnamese English. And the thing about Vietnamese weddings, I'm not sure you've been to one before. Have you been invited to a Vietnamese weddings before?
No. If I've been to Filipino parties, but not
Okay, it's
Vietnamese.
different. So Vietnamese is very scheduled. Like there's segments and segments, like a timestamp for everything.
Yeah.
Like there's a time to cut the cake. There's a time for first dance. There's a time for, um, like saying hello to each table, is taking photos. There's time for dancing. It's literally an itinerary.
It's like
And
all on the schedule.
yeah, so when you have wedding coordinators, they make sure to hit all the thing on time and everything.
Yeah.
That's what Vietnamese wedding. I notice when I do Spanish wedding, it's very relaxed. You know, it's mainly like introducing the couple. They do the first dance, they cut the cake, and then that's pretty much it. After that, just dancing or just hanging out with family. It's very chill.
Yeah.
Um, I'm a fan of to both. I'm not gonna lie. I do like the Vietnamese weddings because of I like how everything's structured, which is cool. But sometimes I feel like it's too planned. If that makes sense. Sometimes I just want to go with the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I like Spanish weddings. They like to go with the flow most of the time, and I mean, of course, hit all the important stuff like the first dance, the cake cutting, stuff like that. That you have to do.
Yeah.
But remember, our Vietnamese weddings are at least 4 or 5 hours of reception. That's a long time. I mean, most people remember the receptions are usually just a dinner, right? How long do you usually eat dinner for? Like an hour, 2 hours? This
Three
is like
hours.
3 hours.
It
That
may take
if it's a
three
buffet,
hours.
sure. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, like what Vinny's went is a long time because of all those segments.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, we have expanded. We I'm sorry to answer your question. We haven't expanded till like probably 2 years ago. So before we were only able to do one wedding a weekend,
Okay.
um, or at least one wedding per day a weekend, like Saturday and a Sunday.
Yeah.
But now we can do two weddings where it's the same night. So like let's say a Saturday night, we can
Yeah.
have two teams that can do both weddings at different places because
Okay.
we have enough manpower, we have enough equipment. And I'm not gonna lie, it took us a long time to expand. It's not because we didn't have the money, it's because we couldn't just hire just anybody. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it takes time to get the right
The
team.
right team, the right
And even if
chemistry.
you have the right team, sometimes it takes time for everybody to work very well together.
Yeah,
People can have chemistry, but sometimes you need to build that chemistry up in order to, you know, become as efficient as possible and as strong as possible.
yeah,
Because I mean, out of my experience, where I work in the beginning, you know, our team was good, but we weren't on the same page all the time.
yeah,
Now it's more like everybody's pretty much got each other's back
yeah.
and is on the same page and kind of it's just a lot more focused and a lot more efficient.
Exactly.
And I mean that's the only thing I could probably relate to
Mm-hmm.
kind of maybe your team.
Yeah, yeah,
But as far as starting out and now, after all these years, all this way you've come along, I'm sure you see a huge growth, in your team and that in yourself as well.
oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, one of our roadies, like a roadie just carrying our equipment, um, had the motivation and fire to they wanted to be a DJ. So me and my partner, obviously, we've been in the business, we've been DJing for a while.
Hmm.
I know there's gonna be times where we need to kind of like hang up our DJ gear, if that makes sense. Like not able to, because doing all these weddings every week, it takes a lot of energy, time, and preparation. Um, so we knew like one day someone need to take our spots for at least the DJ portion, because not only that we're DJs, but we're business owners, so we have to deal with a lot of different responsibility as a business owner, like paying taxes, and managing the gears and make sure we have everything. Like, you're in a band, right? So you understand how, when you set up the equipment, you got to buy certain things per gig, like the tapes. You got to make sure you tape the wires so people don't trip. We got to make sure we, restock those. Our photo booth, when we run out of paper, we got to restock those. So we got to do a lot. There's a lot more than just at the wedding. It's a lot of preparation before the wedding, after the wedding, you know. So one of our roadies, we were able to train to be a DJ, and he is became pretty far. Like he's actually getting demands from Brian Grimm's, like, "Hey, I want this DJ. He's our taste. He looks like he knows what he's doing, and we want him." So, and that's the beauty of it. We want to give opportunities to those that wants to do something. If they want to be part of a team, they want to do contribute what they can. That's perfect. Then we'll give you all the tools, and you help us, we help you, kind of thing. Honestly, our company, we it's not just about the money, really, because if it's all about the money, I would have just full force to do this. I have another job, by the way. So I am using my pharmacy technician license for in good use. So that's my Monday to Friday job. But my weekend job is basically the wedding business.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, you basically you you take what you put in. That's basically what it is, and that's all it is. If people wanted to do something with Radiate Productions to be more, then they just got to put in, and then they can take it whatever they get out of it. So, anyways, regarding expansion, we didn't expand till like 2 years ago, and the reason why is because we it's all about quality control,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Yeah, you can't you you want to expand unless you're ready. You have all the tools and equipment because remember, weddings are very important for the couple's life, really. Like probably the most important, right? Other than their
Yeah.
firstborn or second, thirdborn, other than starting a family, but a wedding is very important.
Y-
So we try not to mess it up.
Yeah, I mean, I also meant as far as more of a high profile wedding or just a larger scale, you know? Cuz you mentioned, well, I mean, what is the most you've ever
Like
it,
hosted,
yeah,
like
hosted?
1,000 guests.
1,000.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's like
mean,
100 tables.
do you
Yeah.
ever see your company growing to the point where like you maybe have to host like anywhere in the 5,000s or something out of
Um.
control to where
Well, that's the thing. We can do that, and we can see ourselves do that, but it's all about storage too. So
yeah, that
you
involves
know,
a lot of
yeah,
equipment.
that's a lot of equipment, a lot of manpower,
Yeah, of
and
course.
yeah, as long as we have that. And honestly, our storage to where we store our stuff, it's good enough what it is as of now. But if we ever want to expand to a bigger scale like that, we definitely need to find a place that can hold our equipment, and it has
Yeah.
to be safe too, right?
Yeah.
These storage areas that you rent, it's not always safe. Even though there's a security guard, people go in there and steal stuff all the time. So yeah, um, before COVID, we had an office. We rented an office where we shared, and we were able to put all our equipment in the office. But after COVID, we weren't able to really um, be able to continue with our lease. So we had to find another place to put our equipment. So, um, but we learned because that place can hold a lot. Um, if we have that space now, I think we could have done more, but I think we're at the right track. I mean, we're able to expand to two teams where we can do about the scale of 1,000 guests. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Everyone's happy. I mean, I check on my guys to make sure they're where they're at with this. Are they happy with what they're doing? And if they're not, we want to check on it because honestly, at the end of the day, it's all about us. It's all about radio production is a family, and our goal is really to provide the best weddings for our clients and for their guests,
Yeah.
honestly.
Mhm.
And it's just it's just a happy environment to be in. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I just sit in my cubicle all day at my regular job, and that's all I see. But at
Yeah.
weddings, I see different types of people. You know, I'm single, so I love to see the single ladies.
Yeah, why not, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I like to holla. So yeah. So there's perks for
Yeah.
this. But we've been around for 10 years. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary last year. We threw a big party. I mean,
Nice.
that's how we started, and that's how we kind of celebrate 10 years. Rented this big hall, and we were able to have 100 of family members, guests, family and friends, and then we just had a good night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I can't wait to see the future for Radio Productions.
Okay. Um, what was I gonna say? Just moving forward. I remember like, we tried to first get the podcast going. You kept mentioning that you're always on vacation. I know you mentioned you've gone to Japan and Canada, but
Yeah.
is this something I mean, if you don't mind me asking,
Yeah, of course.
is this something that you do as something that as far as you like to travel the world, or you just is this something for like
So
family or
yeah, so from the beginning of this podcast, you kind of know where my adult life started. From my trade school all the way to my family business, my restaurant business, to my DJ and audio career, business. If you notice, all the things I've done from then from before I went on vacation, I started vacation last year. Honestly, it's
Okay.
because I've been working. I just been working, just hustling,
Yeah.
and I just wanted. I guess I was just trying to find myself, um, where I want to be before I can really enjoy myself.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, of course, I would love to travel the world, see what's like out there, other than comfortable Orange County.
Yeah.
Um, because even outside of United States, I barely travel anywhere in the United States. So
Okay.
last year was
I
my
thought I
yeah.
you made it seem like you went to a couple
So
other
I went to a lot
places.
last year. So last year was my first year I ever took the I took the initiative to like travel as much as I could because
Okay, that makes sense.
I
Yeah.
was able to build a team to control these to be able to be available during weddings
Okay.
because we're booked every single week.
Yeah.
We don't have breaks.
Yeah.
So I basically talked to my guys. I talked to my partner, like, hey, I want to take a step back and really focus more on my personal life. There's things I want to do before I, settle down, have a
Mhm.
family.
Yeah.
Hopefully with that one day. Um, and I wanted to, travel more. There's places I want to go. I think Japan was like my number one top, that I want to visit. So
Okay.
Japan and Vietnam. So that was like outside of the United States. And
So
of
you went
course,
to Vietnam as well?
yeah, I did. So last year I went to Vietnam and Japan. I'm not gonna lie, I was scared, even though I was excited at the same time.
Yeah.
It's because I went to Vietnam when I was a kid. I was like 5 or 6 years old, and man, Vietnam is one of the probably um, the most that have evolved rapidly, like to be more modernized. Because after the whole war and everything,
Yeah.
they had to rebuild and everything, and they're like one of the fastest that has gone to be more developed.
Yeah.
So I was able to. So when I was a kid, everything was really like deserted. I guess I don't know. I see nothing but
You see
trees.
nothing but a tumbleweed
Yeah,
and shit.
yeah, tumbleweeds. Yeah, it's like this is Vietnam. So I mean, it was fun though because as long
Yeah.
as you have a family that's cool. I get to meet my family for the first time in Vietnam when I was a kid, and then, but I felt so weird because they were all touching me because I was still a chubby kid, so they
Okay.
were like touching me like they were feeling my skin, like because I guess their skin's different, like America's skin's different than Vietnam skins.
Was there's so many factors. The weather, the
Yeah,
diet, the
yeah, yeah.
the
Vietnam
the
has
air,
always
oxygen.
people are always skinny, like they look like they're starving most of the time, but yeah, I was a chubby kid, so obviously it
But
was
they
like
don't do they have fast food over there?
they do now,
They have
but
street
but
food,
back then no.
but I mean like well-known franchises they have.
Now they do.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
Cuz
when I was
I think that's what is messing people
yeah,
up, man.
it is, and I think Vietnam needs it though because they're pretty skinny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess when I was a kid, I didn't really had a great experience when it comes to the culture and the the country, but
Yeah.
family, yeah, I love it. I was able to know who's who, and you
And you
know,
can speak the language pretty
yeah. I
well.
mean, when I grew up, my parents they only know Vietnamese, so I was able to catch on
Oh, so
with.
you learned as a kid.
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty fluent for a guy that is born here in United States.
Yeah.
I'm able to speak pretty decently.
So you
I give
can
myself a B minus.
so can you express yourself the same way you do in English?
Um, Not as great
Okay.
because it's like broken Vietnamese, I guess you can say it.
Okay.
But it's good enough where it sounds like people understands me. If that
Oh,
makes
I see.
sense. Yeah, like I can get by very easily. Like, and they'll say like I speak pretty well. It's for a
So
guy that's born here.
is there like slang words or is there slang talk
Apparently
over
there
there?
are, but I don't know it. It's
Okay,
whatever
because
I
I'm sure
knew.
every country has their like little like street talk, and
Yeah.
it's not
Oh, they
perfect.
do. They do.
Yeah,
I don't know much to be honest, but I learned because I so last year I went for the first time as an adult and I was able to make friends and because I was traveling with friends, but then they have friends that lives in Vietnam and I became their friend and I was able to visit the family again. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember most of them because I was just a kid. I don't remember much, right? So as an adult, I was able to function easily to know who's who. Like, oh, you're my aunt from like my second aunt, third aunt, fourth aunt, my uncle, and this is my uncle's kid, stuff like that. So I was able to understand more. But when I was a kid, I don't know who's who. I just remember faces, but I don't remember who's who.
Yeah.
So that was great. And then so I went to Vietnam for that, and then I went to Japan, and that was great, man. Because I told you like I used to read comic books and manga and stuff like that. So and I love like as a millennial kid, I was into like Fox Kids and WB Kids.
Where in Japan
Yeah.
did you go?
I went to Tokyo, I went to Osaka, and I went to Kyoto. Those are the three cities I
Okay.
went to. Yeah.
Um. So how did you get around though? I mean, as far as like being able to read the signs and communicating with people.
So Vietnam was easy, obviously, because I can read Vietnamese because I was in school for that when I was here.
Hmm.
My parents make me to read and write. But for Japan, I don't speak the Japanese characters, but Japanese is actually it's very English friendly, surprisingly.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, and if you can't, and there's people that knows a little English, because English is such a diverse
Maybe
like
because there's so many
language.
tourists there, right?
Yeah, a lot of tourists in Japan, so
So
and
it
you
becomes
you can get
kind of
by,
like a second
and
language for them.
everything is so easy on the phone now. You just Google
Oh
everything, and
yeah, now
then
you
it
can
works.
translate everything,
Yeah,
even by taking a picture of signs, and it'll translate whatever it
I
says.
wish I went to Japan first, then I went to Vietnam because Vietnam was so relaxed and chill. Where Japan, I walked a lot. I walked everywhere. You
Oh,
know, it's like the Asian of Wakanda. It's like everything was so like the technology is crazy, man. Like, like for me to just go in the shitter, they play music while you're taking a shit. You
yeah.
know, or and they even have the seat warmer on the seats for you everything. It's just everything is like technology is crazy over there. And the people are nice too. So everything about Japan I love is just the people, the technology, and of course the food, man. Like if you like sushi here, you'll love sushi over there, dude.
Did you ever try that? What was it? The raw chicken sushi?
No, I didn't try that.
Okay, I know it exists over there.
Well, there's a lot of things. They
Something
even
about like the chicken being a lot healthier over there,
Oh
and
really?
it doesn't have salmonella and all that.
No, I didn't try that.
But
I mean you can
I
eat
mean,
live octopus.
as far as what I saw is like they cook it, but for like a couple seconds, but
Hmm.
the inside is raw.
Oh really?
So I
Yeah,
don't
I
know,
mean what I learned is you
but
should eat chicken fully cooked.
yeah,
So
it's just not worth
I
the
don't want to
risk,
mess with
right?
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, it was great, man. I mean, honestly, I had to give. I can't take all the credit of like be able to travel last year, like from Vietnam and Japan, like all by myself because my friends did most of the planning.
Yeah,
And, that was my first international trip as an adult. So I didn't. I was just going with the flow. And if anyone wants to travel with me, I'm very easy. So I'm not very much a complainer. I'm not very particular in certain things, what to eat, what to go. As long as we are doing something, I'm okay with. So that's why my friends are more particular. So I just do what they do. And honestly, we had a blast. I had a good time. I had withdrawals coming back home. Like, man, I can't believe all these years that I focus on work. I never traveled because I'm in my 30s now, and I'm still in my prime. Don't get me wrong, but I think I enjoy a lot more when I'm in my 20s.
yeah,
Yeah. So for anyone that takes my advice on this, if you can travel as much as you can before you settle. As in, I'm 35, I'm still single, but for those that are planning to get married a lot sooner, I would travel everywhere as much as I can before you settle. Because once you have family, kids, you're not able to have the time and effort and energy to do that. So, if you can travel, explore, and you know, so yeah, and of course, I try to travel more to like other places that I want to go, like especially domestic. Right, I went to New York last year. I went to New Mexico. I went to Miami. All the cities that you see in movies that are very popping, and you just want to go
mm,
and check it out. And yeah, so that was cool. You know,
yeah.
I went to Canada. Canada is kind of like a mix of America and New York, I guess.
Oh,
Just
really?
very calm. Yeah, New York is
There's
crazy.
less people over there, right?
Yeah, less people, but they're more calm. But the streets are
Yeah,
kind of like New
I hear
York.
the population in California is a lot bigger than Canada
Yeah.
altogether.
Oh yeah, because all you see in Canada, I mean, Canada's huge.
Yeah.
So I was only in Toronto, so there was a lot of people there. But
But just the weather's colder over there,
yeah,
right?
it's colder. Yeah, I was
Is it
freezing.
ever warm over there?
I think there will
Most
be
of the time
times.
is.
Yeah, from what I heard, is like summertime. So around okay, so when I say warm, I mean like 70, 80 max degrees. That's our spring here.
Yeah.
So they never go anything higher than 80s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they're all the way up there. So that's where the cold starts, right? So um yeah, I can go pretty low, like maybe
Mm,
negative degrees on the winter. So but I only been to Toronto, Canada once. I saw Niagara Falls. Very
okay.
beautiful. Yeah, it's just great that I was able to travel a lot last year and this year. I just came back from Vietnam too again because I just love Vietnam, man. You know everything's so cheap there.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Oh, that's awesome.
it's yeah. I think it's probably one of the cheapest country in Asia.
So, I mean, what would you say, like, if you go to Vietnam for a week, what would be like a good budget to be able to
Like
have a
with
good time?
hotels and food,
Yeah.
a week, huh? Honestly, you only need like probably $200.
No.
Yes, a hotel, a decent hotel, it's probably $15 to $20 a night.
Okay.
And a bowl of, let's say a bowl of pho, it's like $2, $3.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So from what my cousin said, people are not scared to starve in Vietnam, but they're just afraid to have fun. I mean, not fun, but like to be able to afford certain like devices, for example. Because an
Mm.
iPhone here costs the same as it is in Vietnam, but their food,
That's a lot of
it's
money.
like a third here or even a fourth here.
Yeah.
A bowl pho here in Orange County, it's like $15 to $20.
Well, it's like here as well, though, in different states where
Mhm.
the food is cheaper or more expensive.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depends. It's like there's some states where the rent's really low, but the food's really high.
Yeah.
Or the rent's really high, but the food's really low. Like, and it all
Yeah. I mean, if
varies.
you live in like North Dakota, I'm sure you can get if you're lucky, you find a bowl of pho for like $7.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
Damn,
I
dude,
don't
those
know.
are the old prices, man. Nowadays it's like 15, $20,
Yeah.
huh?
Dude, fast food now is even a luxury item.
Yeah.
A meal is
It's
at least
pretty
fifteen
crazy,
bucks.
dude.
Yeah.
It's out of control. Um, yeah, because I mean, last time I there's a spot I know of actually near me that they sell burgers. Um, and they're really good, but the combo is about 15, $20 for it's a burger, fries, and a drink. And I'm like, man, I'll just go to In and Out. I went to In and Out, spent like $7, dude, with double and fries. And it's like prices like that, like you can't even find it. Usually it's over $10.
Yeah. If you have the skill to cook, just buy grocery and cook at home.
Yeah, that's what I do.
That's the best.
Because not only you are cooking one serving, is like you're cooking more than sometimes 3, 4
Oh yeah.
servings,
Mhm.
and that's where you're saving money. It's
Yeah.
because you have not only dinner, you can have food for the next day. Um, you know, and depending what you cook, it could be very beneficial.
Yeah. 100%, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's just pretty much what I've been doing. Just travel
Yeah.
and of course, just take care of the business. That's all I am. And hopefully maybe settle down in the future.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's
I mean, you never know. You work hard enough, and sometimes things plan out, and it's like it's almost when you start doing good things, then good things start happening.
yeah.
So
Well, it's been fun, man. And it's nice to go back in time and just think about all the all the grind that I that I have to do to get where I'm at. So,
Yeah,
it's a very it's a I feel blessed, to be honest.
yeah,
Feel blessed, and I never did everything by myself. I Everyone that I met, everyone that's in my life has contributed something to be where I'm at today. So I want to give a shout out to my family, my friends, um, my colleagues, my team, everybody. So, God's good.
all right, George. Once again, congrats on your success. And I hope the next time you come on, you get to hear more great things.
Yeah, sounds good, John.